last night, a few hours after we went to bed, Kiara woke up projectile vomiting. Oh my god, so much. And this morning, well, it's not quite yet morning, but she seems to have a fever and is kind of lethargic and dizzy. So I'm trying to go to the pharmacy to see if I can get a thermometer and probably some medication.
Solo tengo estos de la Advil para la fiebre.
¿La Advil es también para la fiebre?
Como este,
¿Usted sabe si la farmacia de aquí está abierta?
Sí, está bien.
Gracias. I don't have any food speaker.
Okay, so this doggy doesn't look so healthy. Sorry, sweetie, I don't have food. Sorry. I probably smell like food, right? In Merida, at some of the parks, there's dog herds that attack people. And as I'm walking, I see several dogs. Okay, that was so scary. And now they're coming this way. Buenos días. ¿La farmacia está abierta? Sí. Gracias. Gracias. So this one's open. So happy. We're gonna be so happy.
Hoy tiene como fiebre. Entonces, si me recomienda algo chévere, si no, creo que perchopismo y Tylenol.
Sí, de hecho, para vómito, ¿dice usted?
Sí, ayer estuvo vomitando. Me imagino
Todavía
que
sigue vomitando.
No.
Ya no, entonces es más la fiebre ahorita.
Sí.
Podría ser lo que es paracetamol, ya sea Tempra, Trin, pero más Tempra. ¿Qué puede hacer usted?
Alright, so I don't know if those dogs are dangerous or not. The dude said no. But just in case, I am choosing another route. Now, of course, I'm just going a block over. So chances are that they can run here faster than I can. Not to mention other human beings. I'm not scared, you are. At least if something happens, we'll get it on camera. Now my fear says nothing about Mexico. I would be just as worried if I was walking in the streets in USA when there's nobody out. Okay, this is the dog street. Oh, that's a dog walk. He doesn't seem afraid, so maybe I shouldn't be afraid. This is one of my kids' favorite restaurants. That's one of my favorite restaurants. This looks nothing like this. Looks nothing like this during the day. Okay, so as we get closer to the busy streets, I don't feel scared. But there's really no way to get home without the fear factor. You know, I'm realizing that I'm glad I live in Centro and it was only a few blocks of fear, because can you imagine if I lived in the outskirts? I don't know what I would have done. I guess our friend Tamara lives close to a supermarket, so that's not that bad. I'm sure I could have probably found something in the supermarket, but any other place, like what do you do in emergencies if you don't have a car? I don't know. So I ended up buying these, which he said it was generic branding for something like Tylenol. 20 tablets for 10 pesos. And the Pepto-Bismol, which I got a little bottle, 118 milliliters, was 66.48 pesos. I forgot a thermometer. It's just burning up. So, honestly, in moments like this, I do miss home because, like, when you've experienced it already in a place, you know everything's gonna be okay. I'm not, of course she's gonna be okay, but still, I'm worried. Anyhow, I've never felt her have such high fever, but I forgot the thermometer, so it might just be her normal hot body temperature. I guess we will see. So it's a few hours later, so now I'm gonna go get stuff to make her some soup and a thermometer, because I did not have one. But her, like, to the touch, she was just boiling, so we'll see how it goes. Same street during daylight hours.
¿Tiene cambio de 500?
No, apenas estoy abriendo caja.
¿200? Bueno, ¿a cuánto está la manzanilla?
Los 2.15. Poco, yo 5,
¿Qué más? ¿Sí? Voy yo. Gracias. ¿Cuántos están los envíos?
A 30.
¿Tiene cambio de 100? ¿Cuántos están las papas?
A 20 y a 10.
¿Estos de 20?
Sí, a 20 así, mira. Está fresco, mira.
No, creo que de 10.
So I bought chamomile. I bought a big pot to make a lot of soup, some potatoes. This was 20. This was 20. This giant thing was 8. Actually, everything in this bag was 20. Let me take it out. So these 3 things were 20. This was 20. This was 20. 20 seems to be the magic number. This one was 10. This one was 63. So now I get to take her temperature. So supposedly this is moderate. Yeah. I want to shower. All right, I hung it at the door for you. Don't judge me, I don't have a potato peeler. I found it so curious that these potatoes come covered in dirt. But dirt has B12, so I haven't really complained. And just wash them with filter water when I get them. This is what they look like after they're washed. And they're really delicious. I'll break that up with like a spoon. It smells so good. Because you say you want it. Had a fever in like forever.
Well, it was a gross feeling, and I kept trying to wrap myself in my comforter, but no matter how much I wrapped myself, I was still cold.
So I had to go back to the pharmacy to get something stronger because her fever wasn't breaking. But I kind of decided to just call the doctor because she's had the fever all day. and a house call is only 600 pesos, which is like $30. So now we're just gonna wait until he shows up. I did have to go to ATM and get cash because I'm gonna guess that he doesn't take credit card. So I want to be ready. Last trip to the pharmacy. I hope he gave us amoxicillin and some other things, but hopefully her fever will break tonight and we don't have to worry about it anymore. So I wasn't gonna post this video. I recorded it thinking I would share with my Patreons on Buy Me a Coffee because that's where I felt safe. Obviously, I'm a small YouTuber and I don't have that many people on there, so I know the few that are on there and they know what I've been through, and therefore it felt okay. But I realized that being vulnerable with you guys and completely transparent on what life is like while you travel full-time, I felt like it was so important. Or maybe a fear I just needed to get through. Either way, it felt like the right thing to do. And I don't even know if the video captures how I was feeling. So I want to express it. I want to share it with you guys because that day, I mean, it's been a week and it's still ingrained, right, in me. It was a day of fear. It was a full day of fear. And, you know, this created a compound effect that I will address in a minute, but this was the first time of us getting significantly sick here. Like when we first we got a cold. I went by myself, I got tested for COVID, it was negative, all good. That's easy, right? Easy. This was different because as soon as I touched her, she was burning up. And she normally has a hot body temperature, but she was burning up. And, you know, you're always told that if a kid has a high fever, you have to take them to the doctor. And it was 4 o'clock in the morning. And I realized I had no idea what to do at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I panicked. I did. Internal panic, you know, outside I'm always calm and smiling. But inside I was a little bit panicked. And the first thing that came to mind is Tylenol, right? Of course, I know here they don't sell Tylenol. And then the other obstacle was, well, do they even have 24-hour pharmacies? Luckily they did, and I guess I should have assumed they would. But being in a city, it was a variable of doubt that increased my fear. Then, since we've been here for 2 months now, I have not been out at dark. Not like 7:30 dark, anywhere past that, I have not. The reason for this is because when we first got here, there was an incident with supposedly a tourist in which he was walking home 1-2 o'clock in the morning, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. And he got beaten up like really, really bad. I don't know if to get robbed or what the story was. Anyways, this put in a fear in me to be, you know, thoughtful when I proceeded out at night. And of course, I'm with kids, so I'm not going to nightclubs and things like that, but just in case, right? I've been extra careful not to do things that I'm not comfortable with yet. So anyway, so now having gone out at night and it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I need to go get her something because I don't know what could happen if her fever gets too high. I Googled and found a pharmacy, and now the feat of getting to the pharmacy. And I was laughing through it, but honestly, so I have this thing that I do. And Alex, if you're watching, I'm sorry I do this. So I have a habit because when, let's see, my daughter is 12 now, so 10 years ago I almost died from my autoimmune disease, and ever since then the thought of death and leaving my children has been present in my mind and in my heart. I don't know why that happened. It is what it is. And therefore, anytime that I fear for my life, I call my ex-husband and I give him a heads up, because in my mind, if anything were to happen to me, he's the one that has to step up and take the kids, right? And figure things out. But obviously we're nowhere near where he is. He lives in South Florida. We are in San Cristobal de las Casas, Mexico. So it's not like he would be able to handle things quickly, but luckily my kids are 12 and 14. So by now we have a routine of set in place in case something were to happen to me. So even though I'm laughing through this walk to the pharmacy, inside, that is always what goes through my head. You know, what if, right? What if something happens to me and the kids are left alone in a strange country or strange city? This is where my vulnerability comes in, because I don't know if this is a normal mom thing, but this is something I have gone through for the past 10 years after almost dying from my illness. And I do take care of myself, probably not as well as I should. Sometimes I'm reactive instead of preventive. But, you know, I feel like sometimes it has nothing to do with my illness, right? Because being hurt by another human being while walking down the street has nothing to do with me, right? It would just be something that happens. But anyhow, like, you know, as I did my walk, before I took off to do the walk, I make sure he was awake wherever he's at. So he would be aware that this is happening at this moment in case anything bad were to happen to me. And that was stressful. My kid being sick was stressful. And the whole day, like the fact that her fever just wouldn't drop, and I gave her 2 different medications and it wouldn't drop, and I even tried herbal medicine and it wouldn't drop. And I know that, and a friend reminded me that having a fever helps kill the bacteria that is within you, right? Your body's fighting the bacteria. But still, you know that if the fever goes too high, it's dangerous for them, right? It's bad for the brain, and there's things that could happen. So anyhow, I gave in, I called the doctor. That was a fantastic experience, and I am so grateful how low the price was, right? Because she wasn't in a place that she could walk anywhere, and we don't have a car, right? So we could have taken a taxi, but even that situation is not comfortable. And going to a hospital with COVID, it's not optimal, right? Especially in a strange country that I don't know how the pandemic's being handled. So he gave me peace of mind. He told me that she was okay, and that, you know, it was just a matter of the bacteria running through her system and getting the bacteria out. She took antibacterial antibiotics, and it's been a week, so she finished it and she's starting to feel okay. She's still a little fatigued from fighting the infection, but she's okay. The underlying compound situation is that I got sick that day too, and being in mom mode, trying to make sure she was okay, I put mine in the back burner a little bit, and that combined with the adrenaline that and the chemicals that were rushing through my body from the fear of that day, which so affects my autoimmune disease. Don't ever get an autoimmune disease related to stress. Yeah. It's crazy, but anytime I get stressed, all of a sudden it's like I go down. So then I get sick, you know? And now I'm feeling okay that she's not gonna be bad, but now I'm sick. And as the week progressed, mine had the opposite effect. Instead of getting better, I'm worse. Now I feel my thyroid, I feel the inflammation, the throbbing, and you know, my fear for my death comes back constantly. I think part of living with a chronic illness is the constant fear that this might be the end, or that it's gonna get as bad as it once was, or that, you know, like my illness went undiagnosed for a good solid year before I could do anything about it. And even after we figured out what it was, I couldn't get a doctor to see me because it's thyroid related, and thyroid, you can't die from the thyroid supposedly, but I almost did, you know. Anyhow, so now I'm taking care of me. I'm not in reaction mode anymore. I'm calm, but my thyroid is out of whack, and now comes time to deal with that. So traveling with the illness, I wouldn't do it any other way. I would totally keep traveling. I would never stop traveling because of my illness. But there are things that happen that come along with it that are just not fun to deal with, and I felt I should share.